Good afternoon and welcome to this week's episode of Rachel Gaffney's Real Ireland. I'm your host, Rachel Gaffney. Imagine that. Hello there, Anna.
The one and only. Hello, Rachel. Let me put that my camera
How
on.
are you? I can see you in there in the studios. How are you
Hello,
doing today?
Everyone. I am good. Thank you very much. The day isn't great, but hey, we have you always bringing a ray of sunshine over here. So.
Yeah, so we are, again, like I said, we're live from Dallas. And I'm just looking at the weather outside, waving at people there. There's a load of kids running by. Outside the studios. Looks like a soccer team, actually.
Yeah, they have been here all week.
Oh, they have. So anyway, I'm looking at the weather outside and it's looking yellow and blustery and rainy here. It's still warm. It's about 72, 73 degrees, which is what? In Ireland, it's about 20, 21 degrees Celsius. On this week's show, we are going to get started. We're going to go right in. As I said, I'm your host, Rachel Gaffney, and I am introducing Real Ireland to you, the Ireland I know, the real Ireland that I know. So we're going to visit a county in Ireland this week, and it is County Cavan. County Cavan, spelled C-A-V-A-N, V as in Victor. And I have a map to show you. I always think the maps are very visual and they always help.
We do have a map. Oopsies.
Yes,
The one from last week?
Oh, no.
Oh, there we go. All right, give me a second. I'm going to show that in a minute.
That's probably my fault. See, this is the wonderful thing about live. I probably sometimes add things late for her and I forgot, oh gosh, there's a producer and she needs to upload stuff and everything. So,
in the stream right now.
Oh, there we go. So, if you look at, obviously I always put Dublin there because that's where you might fly into to go to Dublin or Shannon on the west coast. But if you go from Dublin to Cavan, the drive is about 2 hours, and that's actually to one of the most further parts there, which I've got 2 hours to Blacklion, County Cavan, and we will be visiting the village of Blacklion today.
I'm excited.
Yes. Have you ever been to that part of the world, Anna?
I don't think so.
No, I think you told me Sligo, right?
Yeah. Oops. We've done wild glasses. We've done Sligo and Dublin. We went around the coast. That's what we did.
Okay, I have to tell you, I have a soft spot for Cavan. It's just the word hidden gem. It's used so many times, and I don't like to use it all the time because it sounds like everything's a hidden gem, but this truly, really is. I mean, this is the little ruby, in the crown, if you like, or the diamond in the crown. So when you go to County Cavan, the population is about 77,000 people at last census. So that'll give you an indication of the size. And Cavan is very famous for, or at least is becoming very famous for, not least of which are the people that are coming out of Cavan and the work they're doing, but the places that you can go and visit and things you can see and do. One of them is the Cavan Byrne Park. And I went and visited this myself. This only opened since about 2014, Anna, to the public.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, the ruins look a bit older than that.
Now, those ruins look a bit old, don't they?
Right.
The actual park itself, so like I said to you, it's only opened since about 2014. But the site itself goes back a little longer than that. Do you want to know how much longer than that it goes back?
Always. History lessons are my favorite. So how
long?
About
340 million years ago.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not that particular ruin, but this area.
Okay, yes, fair enough. It's just for illustration for people.
And that is a photo I've taken on that site, by the way. So it's not just a random one from another place in Ireland.
Yes, for the viewers that just joined us, Rachel always takes photos from her trip. So everything you see here, you won't see anywhere else unless you follow her on social media.
Oh, yeah, I do. I mean, if they're not my photos, I'll mention whose photo they are, but they are mine. And so this one goes back to the Carboniferous period. And so this Cavan was actually covered in a shallow tropical sea. And so then when the sea shifted, then you have County Cavan. And I'm not going to go into the geology and the history, but I learned a lot when I took this walking tour.
Is that what we're seeing on the stream right now?
So now that's called Clough Castle, or Clough, C-L-O-U-G-H, and then O-U-G-H-T-E-R. And if you go back up again and show that castle, that's out in the middle of the lake, and I took the boat out there, and it was gorgeous when it started. It was sunshine, and then I got out there and it started pouring down.
Sunshine,
I got
can't
caught
see
in the
much.
rain. I was, oh God, only me would it happen to, because it doesn't really rain that much in Ireland. You know that? No. You shouldn't say that on the airwaves.
No. All right. So I think
Fake news.
what we want to say, what I always heard when I was in Ireland, let me get my camera here, was that it always rains at some point during the day. Is that correct? It doesn't rain for a long time, but it rains at some point.
Both are correct.
Okay, all right.
It's a temperate climate in Ireland, which means we do get quite a bit of rain, but it's a softer rain. It's not like here in Texas where honestly you know, it cuts your skin open if you got caught.
How about today? Today, for everyone who's in Texas, we're going to have an insane day.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, so I thought I'd mention to you a few places that you can visit and people that you can see in Cavan.
Okay.
One of the places is called the Old Post Inn, run by Chef Garrod Lynch. I don't have a photo, but I just want to mention him to you guys. He's a chef I got to know and love, and he writes these incredible gluten-free cookbooks. But his place that you stay in, the Old Post Inn, is magnificent. Incredible restaurant. Virginia Park Lodge in Cavan. Virginia Park Lodge is a 100-acre estate, and it's owned by the patron and proprietor chef Richard Corrigan. So I went to visit Richard Corrigan to see his place. And I don't know if we have a photo of myself and Richard.
Yeah, I literally just got that off the street.
But here's the thing about Richard. Richard owns and operates Bentley's Oyster Bar. Now, keep that photo up, please, if you don't mind, because if you can see in the background his vegetable gardens there.
Oh, it is.
And do you see those, what look like shells behind me?
Yes, I have a photo of that. Do you want a photo?
Yeah, if you can show that. Now, those are oyster shells. And he owns Bentley's Oyster Bar in London. It's a very, very old, historic, famous landmark in London restaurant. And what he does is when he's finished with the oyster shells in London, he ships them back to Ireland via boat.
Okay.
Now, this is talk about upcycling, recycling, and smart and sustainable.
Right.
Those go around the edge of the perimeter of the vegetable gardens. And he told me that was the slugs can't get into the vegetables. They won't go past the oyster shells.
Of the smell that emanates?
You would have to ask me. I don't know whether they don't like the taste of it or the feel of it, but something it repels them, which of course, if you've got lovely lettuce and things growing, slugs are the enemy of
Oh my gosh, yes.
And what a great way of doing besides putting chemicals on them.
Oh, you bet. People are using
And then those
ducks for
vegetables
rice?
that are sourced go back on the same return trip to the restaurant in London.
Oh my gosh, it's full circle. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So that's a wonderful place to go. He has a hunting lodge and there's a lake. Did I have a photo there of the beautiful lavender and everything? I thought I had, but I was really bad at it. There it is. That's where standing out the front of Virginia Park Lodge looking out at the lake, and he has a golf course and you can do hunting and fishing there. So again, that's another beautiful place to go. And then another place is Farnham Estate, which is owned and operated by Radisson, actually. It's a hotel that you can stay in. And, when you think of, Radisson or modern hotels, and then you go to somewhere like this and you pull up the driveway and the trees were there from the time of Cromwell, and it's this beautiful old hotel. But the other place that I went to stay in is Black Lion, and I went to meet my a long-term friend, and his name is Neven Maguire, Chef Neven Maguire. So Neven owns and operates Macneen House and Restaurant in Black Lion. There he is. I took some people.
Here you are next to him.
Yeah, there I am there. And I can see his good friend Claire in the back in the kitchen, one of his chefs. She's incredible. So that's Neven. That was a group I took on a culinary tour, an adventure with me, where you get to meet chefs and you get to experience and learn a lot. And he'll talk about that.
Side note, just completely selfish question. Did you get all of that trip booked? Are there still any spots left?
Oh, the one coming up in September?
Yes.
I actually have 3 spaces left.
Ooh.
Now, on this one, unfortunately, we're not going to see Neven, but we're going to see other people. We're going to be at Ballymaloe House and Cooking School, the famous one in East Cork, Adair Manor, Dromoland Castle. September 7th to the 15th. All the details are on my website. So anybody who wants to come, just go to rachelgaffneys.com. And another famous man from Cavan that I've discovered, and this is really exciting, and I want to mention him, if you don't mind, really quickly. His name is Cavan McCann. Cavan McCann is a filmmaker, and he's from Belturbet in Cavan. And he is making the movie The Rising, which is the story of the Easter Rising in 1916. Now, are you ready for this?
I am.
You got to go check out The Rising. I think it's therising.ie, but I shared the link to it on my Facebook page yesterday.
Okay.
You should see the cast he has. Liam Neeson's son is going to play the part of Michael Collins, which is what Liam Neeson played 20 years ago. And he's got the guy, Jonathan Rhys-Jones from The Tudors. Jonathan Rhys-Jones, is it? Do you remember the butler in Downton Abbey?
I actually never watched that.
Oh my gosh.
I know, slap it in the hand.
So he's making The Rising, and they're still doing some fundraising, and so I love what they're doing and I want to help promote it as much as I can. But look at my Facebook page from yesterday's post, because I know we're sort of short of time, and I wanted to mention, he's a Cavan man. So moving on to Neven, he has been travelling a lot. He has his own cooking shows. He's written 15 cookbooks, Macneen House Cooking School. He travels around Spain doing Neven's Spanish trails. So I had to do a pre-record with him last week. We couldn't do a live link. He was just really busy, our schedules. So I interviewed Neven last week. So let's go straight into this. Roll it there, Anna. Good morning from Dallas, Texas, and I would like to welcome my guest today to the show, Neven Maguire from Ireland. And Neven is chatting with us live from Macneen House and Cookery School in the village of Black Lion, County Cavan. Hello, Neven.
Hello, Rachel. How are you?
I'm great. How are you keeping?
I'm very good. It's lovely to talk to you. You look great, Rachel. So you do. And listen, thanks for doing this.
You're welcome. And I'm looking at you there. And that's not your restaurant, which I know is a very, very special place. And we'll talk about that later. But you're actually sitting in your cooking school, aren't you?
Yeah, this is where we do our cookery classes, Rachel. And we also do our chef's table, or as you call it, lovely, the captain's table. And we do 14 people at a time in the cookery school. It's literally next door to the restaurant. And I'm here with Claire, one of my chefs. She's here beside me, and this is where the action happens when people want to learn about cooking and ingredients. We've had some of your lovely guests here, Rachel, and thanks for all the support. We've had a lot of fun with your guests here, so it's been great fun. So this.
No, you're welcome. Now, Neven, I don't know why I said captain's table. I don't know what I did. I think that must be a thing here in the restaurants.
Captain is good. I love it.
You're the captain of your own ship, aren't you?
And it's only the captain's table when you're here.
Yeah. And so is it set up right now for that, or is it set up for something else, by the way?
So tonight, Rachel, we have a small group of 10 people in tonight. It's, I think, a birthday celebration, and tomorrow night now we have 20. Or 18, tomorrow night. So yeah, it's a lovely experience. Myself and Claire, we cook and we serve the food. They have matching wines, and if they have that, then we carry them out of here. And it's just it's a great. So the whole idea behind the cookery school, Rachel, it's open nearly 4 years. We won best cookery school in Ireland last year, which was fantastic for myself personally and the team. But it's a lovely intimate, and it's a multifunctional. I've done television shows here. I've done couple of TV ads here, so it's multifunctional, and that's the beautiful thing about the school. It's small, Rachel. It's only 14 people. It's all we take per class, and it's hands-on, and it's just to give people, I suppose, the love of food and cooking, as you know.
Well, yes, and I think what I'd really like people to know and understand is for any of my clients or for anybody who's listening, because I know this is going to be on radio as well, for people to understand that when you go to Ireland and you go to Neven's cookery school, like he said, it's hands-on, but more than that, they're also learning an awful lot about Irish food and Irish ingredients. This story is very important. It's near and dear to my heart, as you know, for years, because I get asked all the time, and I'm sure as you travel around the world for all your filming and everything you do, people are asking us, what is Irish food? What is Irish cooking? And the stereotype, as we know, was the Irish stew and the corned beef and cabbage, which of course we know is really more of a ham, bacon and cabbage. And whilst we're not denigrating or knocking a good stew or a good bacon and cabbage, because there's nothing like it, could you maybe explain to people a little snapshot, if you like, for people listening and watching, what's actually happened with what I call an incredible food revolution, and how elevated food is in Ireland, from the artisan all the way through to yourself to when it comes to the table? I know that's a lot to ask, but if you could give them a little insight into and how you do that in your restaurant and cooking school, I think people would love to hear about that, Neven.
Yeah, of course I could. And Rachel, it's changed so much. Like, I'm cooking from the age of 12, I'm 45, and I've seen amazing changes. We've always had good ingredients in Ireland, from our dairy, our cream, our butter. Our meat is fantastic, really good fish. So, but what's really happened over the last maybe 5-10 years is the explosion of fantastic artisan producers, people in cooking, chefs, the restaurants, cafes. it's an exciting time in Ireland, and I do a lot of traveling all over the country. I go to different food shows, as you know. I get to record with lots of chefs. There's possibly never been a more exciting time to eat in Ireland. You can eat very simple food, or you can eat some of the best food I think you can eat anywhere. And I do a lot of traveling, but I definitely think we're on the crest of a wave. For me, with my restaurant, it's all about a great team. We've 65 employees. We have 14 chefs in the kitchen. And we use as much local produce as possible. I mean, like we're open 30 years this year, Rachel. I learned to cook from my mother, and my mother was a great influence in my life and my career. And from the age of 12, I knew cooking was for me. I'm from a family of 9, and they all worked in the restaurant, but none of them wanted to continue it on. So myself and my good wife, Imelda, who had the pleasure of meeting you last year, Rachel, who absolutely loved her time with you. And we just have taken it on to another level. We have 19 rooms. And we have a great producer, like he's been supplying us from day one, Thornhill Duck. Ken Moffat's his name. He won one of the best small producers in Ireland last year. I'm exceptionally proud of him. He's a fantastic producer. His duck is the best. It's so consistent. So what we try and do, Rachel, is take one ingredient and we showcase it. We might cook it 2 or 3 different variations, whether it's the duck breast and then we serve the leg and maybe a little kind of crispy spring roll with that, or maybe a variation of shellfish done 4 different ways. So that's the kind of food we try to recreate. Like when you mentioned bacon and cabbage and stews, they're all delicious. But that's the kind of food that I would cook for my twins at home and eat very, very simply. There's nothing wrong with that, and some lovely gastropubs do it particularly well. But if you go out for a food experience, people aren't going to get in the car and drive 2 or 3 hours to come to Black Lion to get a bowl of nice steam and Irish stew. I might do maybe a stew of lamb neck with the loin, and then maybe the braised shoulder and crispy sweetbreads. So they could get 3 or 4 different variations, which showcases great produce, I think so. I think that's the way to look at it.
Well, and something I remember from one of my visits with you there, and certainly the ladies that were with me, was at the back of Macneen House, up onto the slope, and especially if you're there when there's nice weather, you have that lovely raised garden and seating area. But out the back, you have incredible gardens and polytunnels and everything, and it's getting bigger and bigger every time I go over. So you actually grow a lot of things there too, whatever you can for your kitchen. So what kind of things would you grow there?
We're very lucky, and I'm going to actually, Claire's going to pass me a little tray of just lovely, beautiful microgreens. So
lovely.
Thank you for that, Rachel, because of course, we have a full-time gardener, and Kevin's his name. So this was an idea and a project I really wanted to do. Kevin's been working for me for 8 years. He can washing dishes in the kitchen, and I said to him, my God, I'd love you to start growing, and he's just grows these amazing little microgreens, over 25 different types of salad leaves. Like these are little pea shoots called Ophelia crest. This here is a little purslane, lovely salad, so it is delicious. And this here is a red vein sorrel. So he grows all of these nasturtium leaves. So these are all picked this morning, Rachel, for our chef's table. That are even little micro coriander, little Ophelia cress, and then we have some little mustard cress. So we keep them in the fridge, a little bit of tissue paper on them, but that's just a selection what he does. And I make sure in the summer, as you said, when the weather is nice, it's not always nice, as you know, in Ireland, we get a lot of rain, but we organise our menu around him. So at the start, when we reopen in January, we say, listen, we'd like you to grow this, try this, try this. He works incredibly hard. He's incredibly passionate about what he does. And for us as chefs, we need to respect what he does and grow. And we're very proud to have him on our menu. He's a fantastic man.
I met Cavan. He's a gent. He gave us a wonderful tour of the gardens. I loved Cavan. In fact, I have a photograph of myself and Cavan. I need to put that up and show it of Cavan. We need to highlight Cavan in the garden. He's doing an incredible job. Now, for people who are going to Ireland and they hear about the usual, we need to go here, here, and here. And I'm not going to say the places because I don't want anybody thinking I'm knocking the place. I'm not. There's certain attractions that everybody knows, but I'm trying to tell people to go to other places as your destination. So. Last week I did a show on Carlow and we talked all about Carlow, and I introduced a woman who Jo Brown, who makes her own products there, and talked about different places. So I think Cavan is another great destination, and one that is very much it's overused, Neven, this term hidden gem, but my God, it is. I mean, I've heard about the Byrne my whole life growing up in Ireland, and it wasn't until a few years ago that I discovered the Byrne Geopark, the Marble Arch Caves in Cavan, and I actually went out to is it Loch Outer or Loch Uchter? How do you pronounce that?
Well, you can call it either, so you can. Like, our local lake is Loch Macnean, and that's where Mum and Dad got the Macnean house and restaurant from, Neven. Or people think, oh, we see Neven Macnean, but it's Macnean is our local lake. But you said a beautiful thing there, that like it is a little hidden gem here, because we don't get a huge amount of tourists, to be honest with you, in our restaurant. We're a busy restaurant, but it's 95% probably people from Ireland that travel and come to us and dine in Macnean's. We're exceptionally busy for a small restaurant because we're not doing big numbers, Rachel, as you know.
Yeah.
Like tonight we have 90 odd people for dinner, and that will include the 10 people that are in here for the chef's table. Like, we put a lot of work into the food, you know, into the breakfast, but it's all about a good team. And
Oh,
when
your
people come here,
breakfast.
oh, I know. Yeah, you like the wee bit of whiskey, the Irish mist, and the porridge.
Oh, you're the best porridge in Ireland. Actually, speaking of best porridge, hold on a minute. Did you guys win an award recently? I mean, you win them all the time. You're probably bored of them. You probably have to build an extension for your awards. But didn't you win one for your breakfast, or your? Did Georgina Campbell award you guys something recently?
Yeah, we won Best Breakfast in Ireland. It was a fantastic, and that was with the weekend magazine, the Irish Independent. The readers had to vote their favourite breakfast in Ireland. So, listen, we were absolutely delighted and so proud of the breakfast team, because we put as much work into our breakfast, Rachel, as we do the night before. It's like a little mini tasting menu. All our breads and our little granolas, and then we do our fresh, full cooked breakfast with homemade box tea. And we do the eggs Benedict with the lovely Byrne smokehouse Brigitte salmon. So
and your
we
yogurt,
really put a lot of effort.
Your yogurt is to die for.
No.
I actually have a little disclaimer. When I have clients that are going to you now, I tell them about your breakfast. I say, listen, this is how you have to plan your trips. If anybody wants to go to Macnean, they have to contact me first. I have to give you advice on how you plan your night and your day there to maximise. Because really, if you're going to go for breakfast with you guys, I think you should go for a hike first after that, before you go for dinner.
You're right.
You know, for sure. And your staff there are, do you know something? I was thinking about it. I woke up early this morning. I was thinking, you know, Cavan sort of hugs the border with Northern Ireland, and I thought that hugging is a great expression. You feel very welcome there with your staff. They're very warm, and I think an awful lot of people ask me all the time, Rachel, we don't want to go to the main places. Tell us where we can go, where we want to meet like real Irish people. We want to go rural Ireland. We want history. Because a lot of people here, we get the beaches and stuff. You know, you can go to Florida, you can go to the East Coast. And again, we love the coastlines of Ireland. But the Midlands and the landlocked counties, I mean, Cavan, they say there's a lake you could fish every day of the year with 365. But I also heard that there's over 500 lakes in Cavan.
Oh God, that's something. You must be hearing things I'm not hearing. I never knew there was 500. There must be
I met a guy.
Lakes, but there is.
I met a guy up there. This is truth. I was at Farnham Estate, or is it Radisson? And it was a porter. It's always the porters and the taxi drivers and the people like that you meet that have all this information. He told me he worked for the is it forestry department? You know, the department in Ireland, not Office of Public Works, but the forestry division in Ireland for his whole life. He's retired, and he told me, he said, Rachel, they say we have 365 lakes, but I know, having worked my whole life, we have over 500 lakes in Cavan.
Wow, isn't that amazing?
So for anyone listening, if you want to go fishing, you need to go to Cavan to go fishing, right? And I went fly fishing there. Did you know that?
Yeah, listen, there's not many things you haven't done, Rachel, to be honest with you. You're just a great...
I fell in.
You see, come here. You can blame that on the Irish mist and the porridge. You ask for a buck and a straw.
Blame it on you.
So you do. Yeah, blame it on me. But listen, you said something really lovely about the staff, and you know, it's all about your team. Like, to have 65 employees, like Blackline is only 300 people, more or less, living in it. It's a very, very small rural village right on the border of Northern Ireland. We're literally a minute. And the staff, like, you can teach service and all that, you warm to them the heart, and that's really, really important, that they are very proud. They're like family to us, and we treat them and we respect them, and they're a huge part of the success. They're everything. That's what the benchmark of Macnean is built on, is good staff who are happy, enjoy their work, but are so happy that the customer is happy. I think that's important to us, so it is.
Well, you know what, on that note, I'm going to finish on this, because you just said something that's very important, and it's something that I've been threatening and talking about for a while, that I almost feel like we need a resurgence about this. But I believe there's a big difference between service and hospitality.
Sure.
You know, service, if I need, you know, my toilets repaired or plumbing fixed, you know, you'll call somebody and they'll come out and they'll service and fix it for you and do that for you. But when you're in hotels and restaurants, hospitality is crucial. Because if you have phenomenal food and the staff are rude and could be bothered, it actually leaves a terrible, if you pardon the pun, taste in your mouth. And I know consistently from people, this isn't, you know, me, my clients, there's a reason why people go to Macneen House. So I'm telling everybody and urging everybody out there, go to Cavan, go to Black Lion, go stay there, call them, go online, call me. And follow Neven, and his name is spelled Neven Maguire on social media, and we will have links for it. And before we leave, could you show us, I managed, I think I saw a beautiful photo early on of one of your dinner plates. Could we see one of your dinner plates there?
I have a little obsession with plates, and this is one of the plates. So we use Belique crockery, but this isn't Belique, this is made from a German company. And we use a lot of kind of like really interesting plates. Aren't they gorgeous?
They're beautiful. Kind of that's lovely. For anybody listening who can't see this. And Belique is not far from you, so people who love Belique, Americans love the Belique. They could stay with you and go visit Belique.
Belique is only 15 minutes up the road, Rachel. As you know, it's such an iconic, fantastic brand and company, and the intricate, the beautiful work that they do. It's not even 15, 20 minutes up the road. And we're so I get that stay here, they go up and visit it, and there's a lot offer in this area, as you said, from fishing to walking, to have a good walk before your dinner. You know, I think Cavan is something for everyone. And listen, Rachel, thank you for all your support. You've been an amazing friend to me personally, but to so many people in Ireland. You're just a fabulous lady. Thank you.
Not at all. You're very welcome. And do you know something? Belique is not somewhere I visited, so that has to be next on my list.
Oh, next time.
Yes.
There's not many places you haven't visited, Rachel, I can tell you. So that's one there. Make that a note.
I know, I've got to go. So everybody, I'll say thank you, Neven, for joining us. And we will be sharing photos and images and video footage. And until next time, Slán Leat.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Derek. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that little visit to Macneen House and Cooking School with Chef Neven Maguire. Thanks a million, Chef Neven, for doing that for us. Well, that's it for this week. It goes really quickly. So I gave you a little glimpse of County Cavan. And next week, I won't be live from Dallas. I'll actually be live from Dublin. I'm flying from Dallas to Dublin next week on Tuesday, arriving in Dublin Wednesday, taking some video footage from Dublin, and then I'll be tuning in live from Dublin. Really excited though, because a month later we'll finally have a direct flight with American Airlines from Dallas to Dublin. But until then, I got to go through Philly. So until next week, April the 24th, when I will be live from Ireland, thanks for joining me, and Shlointe.